Hi, hello, happy Sunday. I see that the camera is wiggling a little bit, but it is what it is. I have just posted my first ever reading vlog to YouTube and I am so excited. It is scheduled for tonight and I had such a good time making it and putting it together, and the euphoria I got from actually posting it is insane, or like scheduling it. So I decided I would jump straight into the next one, seeing as I still have some steam left in the tank. And what we're doing this week is I am challenging myself on 3 separate fronts. So number one, I've picked quite a chunky book that I want to have finished by Friday so that I can edit the vlog Saturday and post it Sunday. Number two, it is a historical fiction, which is not generally a genre I tend to read very much of. And number three, because it is so chunky, I've sectioned it into allocated readings that I have to do per day. And as much as Homie loves a schedule, Homie hates sticking to a schedule. So we will see if I have the discipline and the fortitude to actually stick to what I have set out. And the book I am talking about is The Agony and the Ecstasy by Irving Stone. I have never read an Irving Stone before. This is a fictional biographical telling of the artist Michelangelo's life, not to be confused with the Ninja Turtle. And I have sectioned this off into different segments that I need to read every day. It is approximately 126 pages a day, which I think is doable. And I've started annotating it. I am enjoying it so far. I'm not very far in. I am on page 26. And I'm going to run you through how my annotation system works really quickly. So how I annotate is I like to track themes in a book. So I don't have a set in stone tracking system. I know some people have a set color for quotes that they like, things that made them sad, etc. I don't do that. I track themes. So in this book, for instance, I'm tracking a couple of different themes. So purple is self-doubt, loneliness, all the things that come with being an artist, all of the bad feelings, because I think it is a very lonely profession. And then the green is on making art. The blue is being passionate about art, using it as an escape mechanism, using it as a life-sustaining force kind of thing, and a coping mechanism. I said that very strangely, but we're gonna plunder on. And then yellow is aesthetics. So who decides when art is valuable, what gives art worth, the purpose of art, stuff like that. So that is what I am tracking so far in the book. I am very excited to get to it today, but before I can sit down and read, we need to do some admin. So we have to do some grocery shopping for meal prep this week. John is making a bolognese for Monday to Wednesday, and then I will decide what I'm doing Thursday and Friday. So we gotta go do that. I think that's it for this update, and I will check in with you a little bit later. Hello, John and I just got back from grocery shopping, and I found the cutest little toiletry bag. It is one of those that has a diagonal zip, so when you open it, it doubles in size. It's like the TARDIS, but for makeup, which is super exciting. And we're going on holiday soon, so I needed one because I got rid of my other one because it was like gross and ugly and very old. It was like falling to pieces. So I restocked on that. I'm super stoked. I think it's so cute. And then John is inside. He is doing meal prep. So in addition to the spaghetti bolognese, we are also going to do like an apple crumble situation. So he is such a star. He is getting all of that done. But for now, I need to graft. I have 126 pages to read. So I am going to sit down, focus, and hopefully get that done. So we have a situation. I have been reading for about 2.5 hours, and I'm only halfway through my allotted piece that I need to read today. So I am very nervous for the week ahead. Which I think is doable. But I am getting restless, so John and I are going to take a little walk, and then when we get back, it is right back into it. I am nervous for the week that lies ahead, but hopefully we can pull it together and get it done. Okay, we are back from walkies. It was lovely. I saw some cute flowers. We are ready to read. John has made us some coffee, so I'm gonna fuel up, lock in, and we're gonna finish these pages today. I managed to finish my first 126 pages of this book, and firstly, I am starting to feel personally threatened by this book's page count. There is so much information in here. But having said that, I would also like to personally thank Irving Stone for taking the scenic route and describing every wall, ceiling, and stone in Italy, because at some point I, a full-ass adult, became emotional over rocks. And I don't know how he did it, but he did. It is beautifully written, by the way. So I'm going to give you a little extract so that you have an idea of the flavor, the writing style. We follow Michelangelo from his childhood into his early adolescence at this point, and he is looking out over this valley. He's come here to think, and he says the following. God was the supreme carver, the lyrical hills, each range composed by a draftsman's hand, complementing the succeeding ranges as they rolled back with nothing the eye could see that was carelessly conceived. In the clarity of its air, distant peaks, rolling ridges, villas, trees, though miles away, stood out to be touched, their form tactile. Here nature's perspective worked in reverse. The more distant the object, the nearer at hand it seemed. I am unwell over how Mr. Stone portrays our young Michael. I am obsessed. He is dramatic, he is moody, he is awkward, and he is stupidly in love with sculpture. So I think the best way I can describe it is that Michael is in his feelings 24/7. So when he is not out and about disappointing his father, he is brooding in a quarry somewhere. Like the little emo Renaissance boy that he is, and I am eating it up. Also, for my romance girlies, there is a budding romance in here. I love them. I think they are soulmates, and I have a little extract because I kicked my feet. The scene took my breath away. I was floored. She says, you're not very communicative. He says, I do not aspire to be a talker. She says, then you should mask your eyes. What do they say? Things that please me. I do not remember being this suave at 14. I believe at 14, I was writing the Phantom of the Opera, like fanfics, in a Word document somewhere. So I am live, laugh, loving this book. I think it is perfect. No notes. I also think John might be a literal saint because I have interrupted him on multiple occasions just to read him an extract of this book. And he has been nothing but kind and patient. So, John, I thank you for your service. Sorry. Brain froze for a second there. I added a new tabby to my little collection of tabbies. So it is pink, and the best way I can describe it is blue is art, sad face, and pink is art, smiley face. I also think that this is such a good blend of genres. To me personally, I feel like it reads like historical fiction meets light academia meets a little bit of fan fiction. I feel like Mr. Stone is obsessed with Michelangelo, and you can see it shows. But I am, no notes. Like I said, really, really enjoying this. It's also really satisfying because when young Michael is but a boy, he is apprenticed under this fresco painter. And he's just out there, like, painting's fine, I guess, while mentally planning the David in his head. So knowing that he goes out and becomes a sculptor is insane. It is so satisfying. We haven't even got there yet, but I'm eating it up. So I'm going to go read my allotted 126 pages for today, and then I will come back when I am done. I suspect young Michael will have another meltdown over something. And also, he's going to carve something epic. I think both are inevitable. So that's that for this update. Stay tuned.
Quick behind the scenes moment. I don't know if you noticed, but we have changed the entire game. So I filmed the YouTube video that went out yesterday. I edited the whole thing and then I posted it. And when I watched it back, it just sounded really, really horrible. It was like listening to your own voice note, but worse. And I am going to give you the truth. And the truth is that I had a little meltdown about it. I cried a little. And so John presented me with this here tiny microphone. And it is so cute. It comes in this little box. And within this box, there is not one, but two microphones. So I think John and I are going to be starting a podcast for the two of us, because this might just be my new all-time favorite hobby, is just speaking into this tiny microphone. It's great. So thank you, John. Thank you, Tiny Mike. May we never have to sound like hollow kitchenware ever again. I have finished my allocated 126 pages for today, but I am going to continue reading because I would like to get some other stuff done tomorrow as well. It's also a lot of information to take in, so I am scared that I'm not going to get through everything if I don't get ahead of the curve.
Which I think is doable.
John, if you can hear any rustling in the background, was kind enough to make us dinner so that I could read. So, as he likes to say, get yourself a woman who loves Italian men, especially if you are Italian yourself. So, ladies, I think my biggest piece of dating advice, maybe not dating advice, is like a video on its own. I could get into that, but exactly. But I would recommend an Italian man. Mine is fantastic. So, cheers to that. Oh, do you want some wine with dinner? Okay, that sounds like a plan. I will check in with you tomorrow and give you my thoughts on the next little bit that I have read. Welcome to the second installment of Amy Emotionally Imprints on Michelangelo. Why? Why? I'd love to tell you. Thank you for asking. It is because his love language is gift giving, and I respect the hell out of it. So throughout the novel, Michelangelo bestows these tokens of gratitude to people who have helped him along the way. But there is this one instance where this guy essentially helps Michelangelo secure a commission, and instead of just saying thank you like a normal person, he illustrates the entirety of Dante's Inferno. Because why say thank you with flowers and wine when you can draw someone their own personal hellscape, you know? And I respect the hell out of it. So let's talk about where we are in the plot. Let's rewind, if you will. So tensions are rising in Florence. We have some internal and some external conflict. So internally, the government has seen some mismanagement due to a change of hands. And externally, King Charles has taken the throne and he wants to take everything along with it. He wants dominion over everything, Florence included. And now there is this internal conflict and this external threat of invasion. And in between all of this, there is just the church, a little sprinkling of hellfire, just to keep you on your toes. So Michael, bless his soul, is being torn every which way between all of these conflicts. And while he is doing all of this, he is also just trying to stay true to his passion and his vision. But it is becoming increasingly difficult. And what I really appreciate about the way that Irving Stone has written this book is he has shown the process of making art. It is slow, it is painful, it is deeply personal. And you are largely at the whims of everyone else, the people who fund you and commission your stuff. And he does it without making me feel like it's a tortured artist cliche, which I think is very impressive. So We also get to see the loneliness that comes with being an artist. Michael is at this point in his life where he has lost a couple of mentors. They are no longer in his life, and he is just struggling through the grief of that, and making art to kind of cope with everything. And it has just created this really compelling character that I cannot help but root for. And that is something that I am enjoying. We've also kind of entered the Michelangelo versus the universe era, because he has beef with the church, he has beef with the government, he has beef with his family, and he just wakes up and makes art regardless, which I think is super impressive. So, what I really like about it as well is it's not as simple as man makes sculpture, it's man questions the meaning of life, the universe, and everything through the medium of marble, and it's just been so much fun. So, with that in mind, we've also started talking about more philosophical questions regarding art, such as why is art always followed by destruction? Is art in itself destruction? The reactionary element of art, the value of art, who makes art valuable? Is it the artist? Is it the viewer? Is it the person who funds it? Is it the institution who funds it? And so that has been a really interesting conversation to have, and Irving Stone has written it in such a way that it doesn't feel out of place. It kind of just feels like the natural conclusion of where Michael is at this point in time. And the fact that I refer to him as Michael, just like he feels like a friend, which has been just a wonderful experience. Additionally, I think something that I find really compelling about this character is that he is insatiable. He is never satisfied. He is immediately onto the next milestone as soon as he reaches a milestone. And it comes out in a very interesting way, because we start off with schoolboy doodles instead of learning Greek and Latin, and we ramp up all the way to teenage boy steals cadavers to learn anatomy, because drawing the village people just isn't enough. And I feel simultaneously seen and attacked. This book feels like I am learning a lot, but it also makes me feel like I'm spiraling, and not in a way that I'm not enjoying. I am enjoying the duality of both those things. So I think this book is slowly entering my favorite reads of the year, which is insane, because I did a reading vlog just last week where I also read something that I think is going to be in my favorite reads of 2025 list. So if you want to see that, I will link it for you down below, and you are more than welcome to give it a watch. So I've also been thinking about who I would recommend this book to, because I need to recommend it to somebody. It's great. So I'm going to need you to stick with me on this one, okay? It might sound a little bit crazy, but if you like the way that Robin Hobb does a character study and portrays her plot and pacing and all of that good stuff, then I think you might really enjoy this book. Because I know it's crazy to compare Fitz's chivalry to literally Michelangelo, but the emotional intensity, the introspection, the unraveling of a man's soul amidst grief and insane expectations, it just screams Robin Hobb to me. I'm sorry. I think if you like it, if you like the sound of it, you should definitely give it a shot. But yeah, that is the update. I will see you once I have read some more. Alrighty, hello gang. So it is Tuesday evening, and I haven't done a stitch of reading. I've read nothing. So there are not very many hours of the day left, and there are very many pages to read. I have no idea what is going to happen. I will try my best, but something tells me that I'm not hitting that goal today. So we will reconvene tomorrow, where we potentially might have to replan the whole thing. But for right now, neither John nor I planned for the evening ahead, so we're gonna get takeout and we're gonna chill, because it's been a long day. Hello. I have a confession to make. I did not manage to read anything yesterday. We were going so strong, we were doing so well, but I was exhausted and I couldn't do it. So I have done the math, and if I still want to finish the book by Friday, I have to do 160 pages a day, which is rough. And from past experience, probably isn't going to happen. And if I shift the deadline to Saturday, I have to read 120-ish pages a day, which you're not going to believe this, sounds doable. So I think I might go for option number 2, but for right now, I have to get back to work. I'm going to have some lunch, and then I will check in with you once I have done some reading. Hello, it is Friday, and I have a confession to make. I did not manage to read what I planned to read either yesterday or the day before. So it is Friday. I plan to finish this by Saturday. But the delusion, I don't know what made me think or believe that I could read this in the span of 1 week. But I have regrets, and I have about 350 pages left. So we really need to get on track. But let me tell you about what I have read. So Michelangelo very casually commits some art fraud, and then gets kind of salty because the middleman swindles him out of some money, which, babe, like, really? You knew what you were doing. But this fraud does get him sent to Rome. And while in Rome, he sees some sculptures, and he is physically taken aback to the point where he has to go take a nap and emotionally digest what he has seen, which relatable. I feel like art does that to the best of us. And you know what they say, while in Rome, miss Florence. So he's feeling really homesick at one point, but then he stumbles across a whole bunch of Florentines, and I just love the way that they brought Florence to Rome in the way that they decorate their houses and like the meals that they cook, and it was just like really cozy and wholesome, which was awesome. But it's not all rose-tinted glasses. You know, there is some casual sexism. And I was initially quite impressed that there wasn't all that much casual sexism in this book to begin with, given, you know, that it's set in the 1500s. But there is this one character that we meet in Rome who is just, he's like a 1500s Andrew Tate. And I hate his guts. I just hate him. He's not like a main character in any way, shape, or form. It's just, every time I read him, he kind of puts me in a bad mood. So luckily, we have moved out of Rome. We are back in Florence, and Michelangelo has sculpted the David. And shame. He spends a really long time on this commission. And there is this moment where people of Florence start referring to time as before and after the David, which brought literal tears to my eyes. But something I love about this is that we get to see the entire conceptualization of a piece while Michelangelo is sculpting it. So it's not just man sculpts art, it's man debates over art, it's man draws art. and man dreams about art, and man questions his entire existence over a piece of art. And it's just given me so much more respect for Michelangelo, even though it's a fictional retelling. But it's made me see the actual artworks in a new light, so to speak. So that's been really, really cool. I have really appreciated that we've had some really cozy and whimsical, like ordinary, mundane, but soft and magical moments in between all of the political tomfoolery that is taking place, as well as the return of Michelangelo's emo phase. There was also this one line. Michelangelo is kind of he's at a turning point in his life, and somebody comes up to him and tells him, your days are numbered, live them, meaningfully, and don't squander them. And that's all good and well and really cute as a concept until you realize that you don't know if you're living your life meaningfully. So anyway, existence is fleeting. Art is cool. But yes, we do have the return of my favorite character, and I am so jazzed about it. I missed him so much, and I am just really, really stoked to have him back. So that's the update. I feel like this one wasn't as coherent as the ones that came before. I'm feeling a little bit flustered. There is just a lot that needs to happen before Saturday. And I am feeling the pressure, and I don't do well under pressure, so I don't know why I decided to put pressure on myself, but it is what it is, and I'm going to try to read some more today. These like slots just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's terrifying. Please focus. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I have a lot to get through today, and I'm not going to promise that I'm going to do it because I know better than that by now. But I will check in with you once some reading has been done. Hi, hello, it is Saturday. I've run out of tabbies and I need to run to the stationery shop quickly to restock, but it looks like it might rain, so we're gonna dash, and then there is a coffee shop nearby, so we might go sit and have coffee while we read our books. I have about 200 pages left, so the day is young, the spirits are high. Let's get this done. I did it. I finished The Agony and the Ecstasy by Irving Stone, and as much as I had to give myself a whole extra day to do it, I think it was worth it. I really enjoyed the way that Michelangelo grew as a character. I enjoyed watching him grow older. I loved that some things stayed the same while he softened in other areas. His tenacity and grit were present through the entirety of his life story. I think Irving Stone also has some really interesting discussions in this book regarding Michelangelo and his art, specifically why his tone in artworks shifts as he grows older. The political intrigue was also just 10 out of 10 there for me the entire time. I really enjoyed watching the power dynamic shift between Michelangelo and whoever had commissioned Michelangelo. Because at the end of the day, the person who had commissioned Michelangelo, they were just as vulnerable to the political and historical events that were taking place. And that was a really interesting idea that Irving Stone explored throughout this novel. I think I'm still going to stick with my Robin Hobb take. I think if you like Robin Hobb, you will like this writing. But I think that's it for now. I really appreciate that you hung out with me for so long. My eyes need a break. I might need a nap. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.